Okay, it's all happening here. A big reversal in mainland China markets as the market goes through some of the so-called stimulus announcement measures that came in this morning. Of course, other local piece of news that we're tracking are the Haryana elections, and you've got the tally up on your screen, and it seems to be sort of a big early lead for the Congress with the 25 seats. BJP is a close second at around 22. Okay, now we have more definitive leads that are coming through. So 42 for the Congress right now, BJP 16. With some of the other parties trailing behind. That's JNK, Congress in the lead there, 25 for Congress, and BJP gets 22, others getting 8 seats. So those are the early leads as counting continues on both of those in both of those states. Well, with that, let's quickly now also talk about the individual stocks that we need to keep our eye on, and our team is standing by with the CNBC TV 18 list of stocks to watch. Let's kick it off with the Tata Motors. We have some numbers coming through for JLR. Very morning. How do they look?
Good morning. So we're keeping an eye out on those wholesale numbers that have come for JLR. Not a pretty picture because they're down by around 10% on a year-on-year basis. What you're watching out for is 87,303 is the overall JLR wholesale number for this quarter. Now, other than that, quarter-on-quarter basis, also we're not seeing anything exciting, down almost 11% in terms of wholesale numbers. What impacted the numbers this time? Supply disruption as well as delay in dispatches in Europe as well as UK were the main reasons for Q2 being a bit of a weakness that we're seeing right now in Q2 for the wholesale numbers. Mix for Jaguar, that has also come down. Other than that, share of Range Rover Sport as well as Defender, that has seen a decline marginally of around 67% is now the share versus 68% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So these were the main factors, but seems like this was mainly related to this quarter because the company has given an outlook. They're positive in terms of the production story as well as wholesale numbers in the second half of the year. So keeping an eye out on that. Today expected to open up in the red.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Vinny. Well, let's hop across to Shivani, who's here to tell us about Ola Electric. Shivani?
Well, yes, Nigel, good morning, but not good news for Ola this morning. Sources have told CNBC TV 18 that Ola Electric is facing serious scrutiny from the Central Consumer Protection Authority, which is the CCPA. This is following a surge of complaints from consumers. What we learned from sources is that around 10,000 grievances have been lodged against the electric vehicle maker on the National Consumer Helpline, with consumers citing service delays, issues with refunds, and overall dissatisfaction with the company's after-sales service. Now, in response to these widespread complaints, CCPA has issued a show-cause notice to Ola Electric, demanding an explanation for the alleged deficiencies in service. Now, the authority is investigating whether the company's actions constitute unfair trade practices and potential violation of consumer rights. Specifically, the notice points out that it points to recurring concerns about delayed services and refunds, suggesting a pattern of negligence that has impacted many consumers. Now, Ola Electric has been given 15-day window to respond to this show-cause notice that went to them on 3rd of this month. Late last night, the company confirmed that it has received the notice and assured that it would be addressing the concerns within the stipulated time frame. Ola Electric also reaffirmed its commitment to complying with all regulatory allegations. Back to you.
Okay. All right, Shivani, thank you very much for that. So Ola Electric remains a key stock in focus today. Let's also look at some of the interesting consumer updates that came in second quarter updates. Mangalam is looking at stocks like Godrej Consumer as well as, I think, Nykaa. Mangalam, morning.
Good morning. So, for Godrej Consumer, the margin expansion thesis is under a bit of a cloud. Why do I say that? Because the company in its second quarter update has said that while they are on track for high single-digit underlying volume growth for both India as well as Indonesia, they will miss the target of mid-teens EBITDA growth for the entire year due to tough operating conditions in India. What are these tough operating conditions? Competitive pressures and inflation in palm oil prices, which will keep the standalone EBITDA in India flattish, as a result of which their consolidated revenue growth will be in mid-single digits and EBITDA will also be in mid-single digits itself. So a lot of the margin expansion that was factored in may not happen this time. So see some red for Godrej Consumer. For Nykaa, though, it is a good performance which has come in a tough environment. The consolidated revenue growth of mid-20s, beauty net sales growth in mid-20s, led by retail, own brand, as well as their B2B business. Whereas fashion, out there, the growth is in early teens, largely because there has been subdued demand in this category over the first half of this year. There could be recovery in the second half. So green for Nykaa and red for Godrej Consumer.
Well, Mangalam, it's a colourful morning. stocks aside, wishing you a very, very happy birthday, my brother. All the best, good luck. And I'll tell you what, this year is going to be the most special for you. So, best wishes as always. And lunch, dinner, breakfast, the drill, brother. But, all the best.
Thank you so much, Nigel. Thank you so much for your wishes.
Well, from Mangalam, let's hop across to Sonal. She's here to tell us about some stocks that are in the news. Sonal, I hope you have planned something colorful as ever this morning. Tell us about the stocks. If you want, you can tell us what's the gift to Mangalam as well.
I don't have to worry when you're there, Nigel. So I don't need to worry about the gifts, the lunch, the breakfast. I think we'll plan it together. So that's not a problem at all. But talking about more serious things in stocks now, let's start with Sobha because there was a Q2 operational update and it doesn't look so good. Sales were down 27.5% on a sequential basis. There's a decline on a YOY basis. Realizations down 20.5% sequentially. Sales volumes down 23% sequentially. So it's a decline both on a YOY and on a quarter-on-quarter basis, something that we saw with Godrej Properties as well this time around. For Oberoi Realty, there's a fundraise that the company has planned. On 10th of October, they have a board meet where they will be raising funds via equity shares or any other permissible mode as well. For Yes Bank, they have received some money. It's a 454 crore rupee receipt for loan portfolio sold to JC Flower Asset Reconstruction Private Limited. So some green on that stock could be seen today.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Sonal. Well, I'm tracking two stocks. One is High-Tech Pipes. In yesterday, very few stocks ended in the green, but the street sense that, that QIP is likely to be open up. And that's precisely what came about. In fact, Nimesh had mentioned on D-Street Chatter as well, that's likely to be the case. So that was up 5%. Now, the floor price for that QIP has been approved at around 195 rupees. And I understand from sources that they're looking to raise close to around 600 crores and demand is quite solid on that front. Why are they raising this money? They're currently at around 750,000. They're looking to move to 1 million. Later on, they're looking to move to 2 million. And in their mix as well, they're looking at the VAP, which gives better margins to move to around 40% in the years to come from around 28% in the last year. HEG, interesting one. They've gone ahead and they've bought their competitor, who's a far larger player, I think, in terms of capacities. Graftex capacity in comparison to HEG is close to 80-90% higher. But they put down 250 crores. They bought close to around 8% stake in the company. And it's a company that's in the same business, but a larger player. The counter argument is, why didn't you do a buyback and use that money for your own shares? But for the time being, it could be signaling that globally, graphite electrode prices are bottoming out. We know a price increase came in from one of the competitors as well. So expect the stock to open up in the green, HEG as well as High-Tech.
Okay, all right, got it. So those are two more stocks that are going to be in focus today. And of course, how can we forget the surge in crude oil prices with Brent above $80 a barrel? We have Manisha joining in with the latest from the oil markets. Manisha, morning.
Morning, and thank you for that. So, yes, the crude oil prices have had a one-way rally. When you look at the last 10 or 15 days, traded above $81 a barrel at one point in time in the New York session yesterday. And with that, the crude oil prices now are at a 6-week high. Remember, last week we've seen 10% of gains in the crude oil prices. So there seems to be more build-up in sense of net long positions here. Well, one is, of course, the Middle East tensions, which are escalating. Even as the U.S. president has discouraged strike on oil facilities in Iran, the markets, the kind of gain that we've seen in the last 1 week clearly has been all about a war premium. Apart from that, China opening today, an expectation that it would unveil more news, new economic stimulus has been supportive. And more importantly, Saudi Arabia, even as it has cut oil prices for US and Europe customers, has increased prices for its Asian consumers, and that clearly has been supportive. And because of the rising crude oil prices, you have seen palm oil prices going again to a 26-week highs. I mean, that's because of the biofuel fact. Coal is trading at a 12-month highs. Even the rubber prices gained up by 6% overnight. So there clearly seems to be a spillover effect in various other commodities.
All right, Manisha, thank you very much for that. So that's oil, right? I mean, another 4% last night, as Manisha tells us. There are flashes at the bottom of the screen. I think the Congress is across the halfway mark in Haryana. That's the update which is coming through. These are, of course, early leads, but it's ahead in 46 seats. So that's the update coming through. But, this is well advertised in exit polls, etc. It all put the Congress at about 60 or so. So we'll see, if this is going to be as per what the exit polls really showed. There you go. But these are very, very early leads which are coming through right now. J&K up on your screen as well. Congress 31, BJP 26, So 90 seats in total, trends in 71 of those. We take a break. We're going to come back in just a bit, but just to recap the news, the stocks. So stocks with positive news flow, Nykaa, High-Tech Pipes, HEG, Oberoi Realty and Yes Bank. Stocks with negative news flow, Tata Motors, Ola Electric, Godrej Consumer and Sobha. Oil, of course, we're watching oil sensitives as well with this jump once again in underlying oil prices. Amnish Agarwal is our guest on the other side. Stay with us.